Hey guys, what's going on? It's Kevin Lee here. Today I have a special guest today. We're going to talk about, is Kali good for self-defense against a blade? Okay, and there's a lot of people that may talk about, for wrestling, use jiu-jitsu, use Krav Maga, use maybe just street boxing, right? So today I have a special guest, CoachDannyTerrell. We're going to talk about why is Kali, well maybe if Kali is even good for self-defense against an edged weapon.
I think Kali can be very, very good against the for self-defense and an edge weapon if you understand what you're doing with it.
Okay.
The problem, I think, is most people try to fight against the knife, and my philosophy on it is to get away from the knife. So if it's a self-defense situation, the number one thing I want to do is not be with a bladed weapon. I want to be empty-handed against bladed weapon. So I like to use the acronym ESCAPE: evade, stun if possible, create distance, assess my situation, position, and then equalize.
Equalize. Okay.
I get an equalizer, and sometimes that equalizer may simply be distance. But the big thing is, can I go to a different type of weapon? Can I get something between me and the knifer? So the number one thing is always is awareness, but awareness doesn't always happen. So if we play with it from the understanding of, I want to create distance and I want to stun if possible. If you come in with any type of attack, the first thing I want to do is nail you, and I'm going to create distance and get away from him. I don't want to engage against someone who has a blade if I'm empty-handed. If I cannot get away, my family's with me, then I'm going to go to another weapon. If you carry a weapon and it's legally justified for you to be able to use a weapon, and that's the number one thing, are you legally justified to do it?
Correct.
So because I'm in fear of my life, and you've already showed the propensity of the fact that you want to attack me, I am legally justified at that point in time.
Correct, okay.
So if you do come in, the first thing that I want to do is pass that. I'm going to create space, stun him if I can. I'm going to create distance, and then I'm going to draw my weapon.
When did you get a knife? When did you just get a knife?
So then I'm going to draw a weapon. I don't want to engage with this guy if I can get away.
Makes sense.
The thing is that if I can't get away, I'm going to still try to maintain distance as much as I can. So if he does start to come back at me, I'm still going to.
Oh man, that's
I'm
scary.
still going to. I'm going to try to maintain as much distance as I can from him, because I don't want to engage. Because whatever he can do to me, I can do to him. Whatever I can do to him, he can do to me.
Correct.
Now, those people that want to engage directly, I think that's a crazy thing to do. That's my philosophy. Now,
I agree.
There are other people out there that say immediately go 2-on-1, hands-on. So, and I look at it this way: if I'm the perpetrator, and Kevin doesn't have a knife, and he grabs me and goes 2-on-1, I'm going to switch my hands.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch my hands immediately. There are guys out there, they play, now he can get head control, he has head control, I can get underneath, now what's he going to do?
Yeah, it's just
And that's the biggest thing that I see with most people that play that game, is they don't worry about the other hand.
I agree. The secondary hand's important.
Right, so my thing is, if it comes to a blade, I'm getting away. Now, I am fortunate that I live in a state that allows me to carry.
Yeah.
I can go conceal, and I will go to that weapon before going to a knife if I have to.
Would you say that you will have to create a distance before you start drawing your second? Okay.
Absolutely, and the distance has to be long, because if you think about, if you have a knife, and you come in, and I'm able to create the distance, I still have to be able to get my weapon.
Yeah, because I'm going to charge towards you.
I'm going to continue to create as much distance as possible. If I don't move, if I get this, I get away, and I'm still here, there's no way in the world that I can get my weapon out without getting seriously damaged.
Correct.
So that's the big thing on me is I teach create distance. Now, if I can't get away, so say we're against a wall for whatever reason, we're in a bunch, and he comes in with something, the first thing I want to do is, again, trap. And I'm going to pin him against the wall if possible. Then I'm going to start, can I take the knife away from him? If I can't take the knife away from him, then I'm going to start burying it into him. Use the wall to pin him against the wall. Of course, he's going to be fighting back. Kevin's being really nice right now. He's not trying to come back. So if I get him against the wall and he starts fighting coming back,
oh, nice.
I want to be able to maintain and control that arm. How do I isolate the arm that's holding the weapon? That's the big thing that we do. So can it be done? Yes. It needs training though. And that's, I think a lot of people play this tappy-tappy game. So maybe if I can borrow Mark.
Okay.
So you see a lot of guys play the tappy-tappy game. Mark comes on a low line, they do this, and then they play, and that's good. other than the fact that I'm learning sensitivity and I'm learning how to pass the weapon. But the big thing is it was taken out of all of that. When we go slow, when I pass, I want to nail him if I can, and then create distance. And unfortunately, for the most times, that's not there.
Yes.
That violence of action is not there.
Yeah.
Because this moves far faster than I can go, woof.
You just got cut.
Now I just got, he just punctured my lung. So all of a sudden, my ability to fight is going to be, I can be in great condition, but if I can't breathe, then my conditioning sucks.
Yeah, so you're inserting something. As I'm stabbing you, you're inserting some sort of attack.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack you immediately, and then my thing is evade, stun if possible. So the same thing again, if I'm on the inside line, I'm attacking him, and then I'm going to evade that and go.
Yeah.
When he attacks, notice where am I in relationship to the blade?
You're away from the blade.
I'm away from the blade. I am on the outside of this arc. Now, how do you learn to be on the outside of the arc? You got to play that a lot.
Yeah, train a lot.
You've got to train it a lot. You have to spar it so that you understand the range. So when Kevin comes in, I'm hocking this down, slapping the back of his head, and then creating distance. And so I'm attacking that arm as I come down. The nice thing about now, I'm just inside the arc, but when I attack the arm, I'm just outside the arc. If I try to pass it,
you might get cut.
I might get cut. So I'm attacking the arm and drive. That's a slap to the back of his head or to his ear, blow out his eardrum, create the distance if I can, and then I'm going to start assessing, do I get away?
Or do you stay and fight?
Or do I stay and fight?
Okay. So that's kind of your method of training, which is you sort of understanding the evasion, the sort of insert some sort of violence, either it's going to be punch, strike, some sort of like attack.
Something.
Okay.
If you come on a low line and I nail your head and elbow you and pound your head, I'm still going to try to get out. I'm not going to stay there.
That first shot will probably knock a lot of people like just, wow, surprise.
Well, one of the things that we target is I'm targeting the radial nerve with that elbow because that's what controls the thumb.
Correct.
So I'm nailing that to begin with and then coming back and hitting.
That's effective.
And then creating that distance there. And again, in most training, that violence of action is not there. And if you don't have that, then you're wasting your time.
And how would you say colleagues will be different from like training Krav Maga or maybe like wrestling or other martial arts?
Well, I think grappling-based arts tend to grapple.
That's true.
They tend to grapple.
Yes.
Is that where you want to be with someone with a blade? Is that where you want to be with someone? Where's multiple opponents? Where's the other guy?
Yeah, I don't want to be on the ground when there's a lot of people around me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, or gravel, broken beer bottles, other idiots are out there. So no, that's the last place I want to be.
So okay, so let's put a fair question out there because my goal is, I know that because I personally train in different martial arts, right? You know, like I try to blend as much as I can. So I want to know, like, because I also study Kali too, but I understand that there's not a perfect system that fits every scenario.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So what would you say that if we were to teach somebody else to defend themselves properly, or even just escape properly, or escape like safely out of an attack, what would you teach them in your personal like experience?
How to get away?
How to get away, survive.
Okay,
why is your Kali method that works for self-defense?
Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is, and this is the way that we bring people up, is I start them on a low line attack. So it's a sort of low key thing. It's not a high rep. Not high rep. I'm not worried about him actually attacking me. I want to go through the motions. All right. So the first drill that we teach is how do I not get stabbed?
Yes.
Get off the line. A number one is don't be there. Move out the way. So that's the evasion.
Evasion. Okay.
Now I want to make contact with him as I evade. So now I know where his arm is, and this is tactically, I can touch him, I can feel him, he begins to move. How can I get away from him? So we start with, I pass, I slap, I push, I leave. If I can't get this hand in time, I will use the other hand first to buy time to get this one in, to slap, to push, to leave. That's the first step. The next step is, what happens if I'm on the inside? How do I go back to the outside and leave? So that's an attack on a low line. If he attacks on a high line, again, I want to be outside of the arc. I bring it down, slap the back of the head, and leave. What happens if I can't get this in? I come up with the other hand, immediately comes with the other one, slap and leave. I always want to use the hand that's closest to my opponent as my main parry if possible.
Do you isolate the weapon sometimes? Or will you always come up isolate? Okay.
Yes, we will. After we get to the point that I know what's happening with the weapon.
Okay.
So there's a progression with this. So when he comes in, the reason why I use this arm is the fact that that pushes, and I'm no longer going this way, versus this one comes directly to me.
I agree.
So we will try to use the arm when I'm facing you, whichever arm is closest to the weapon. If you come on the backhand side, it's the same thing. I turn, face toward the weapon, and the arm that's closest, I'm able to pass with. So we sort of teach that first. Then again, what happens if I can't get my hand in? I do secondary, then I go to the primary and pass. And you saw I isolated at that point in time. So when I come across, if I can't get this, this is where my isolation happens. And the reason why I do it now is that this is my primary. I've already got tactile control of you here. Now I've got control, and there's the blade. There's an arm break here, or I can walk away. And what I want to do as I walk away is I want to take his arm, and I want to make a straight line between his shoulders with his arm. So I'm coming back this way.
Nice.
Because that puts him in the weakest position for his shoulder.
Yeah. So it's
really hard for him to control anything. From this position, it's a whole lot easier for you to pull out. So I'll get out, and then I can strip, or I can return it back to him if I'm legally justified.
For sure. So how would you deal with someone who's aggressively just stabbing?
Very good. So that's the next level, is what happens if I cannot get that primary. So I go here, and you're coming right back again, and you're aggressive. I'm going to nail your face and turn your face, and that's why that stun is so important. To take that out. I've got to get that violence of action.
It draws my attention to something else.
Yes. So if you, the big thing everybody asks about, the guy comes in with a machine gun.
Yeah,
like
this.
Pow.
Oh.
So what I did is I'm hitting the nerve inside of the shoulder, and all I want to do is, this is hard to stop.
Yes,
because this
I
is
agree.
moving fast.
Yeah.
This is not moving fast at all. So I'm nailing this to slow that down.
That hurts.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So
that's a good spot.
I really want to. You know, clothing manufacturers or closet martial artists. Right where the seam is, inside of most of clothing, is the places where you can attack the vital points. So when he comes in, I'm nailing this because this is slower motion.
Like a nerve right there.
Right. So that sort of deadens that arm, and that slows him up from being able to get in there.
Yeah.
From that, then I'm going 2-on-1. And when I go 2-on-1, I know where his, and the reason why I'm hitting this, it slows the arm up. I know where his shoulder is. I can slide all the way down his arm. I'm not groping around for something.
You're following the same line.
I'm following the same line as where the blade is. Once I'm there, I'm going to control the base of his thumb and his fingers.
That's a very good point, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people seen this video. I mean, you may have seen this video that people talk about just grabbing wrist and try to destroy my hand. You can't do that.
You can manipulate the blade.
Exactly.
I control the base of the thumb.
That's how you do it.
And then, Kevin, you can tell them what it feels like.
Yes. Oh man, he's squeezing and lifting.
Squeezing and then I'm twisting.
That's
the wrist.
hard.
When I twist the wrist, what I want to do is I want to bring his elbow above his shoulder.
You put that's a lot of pressure into my wrist.
Yes.
Because it's almost like you're grabbing it and just ripping it. Versus, because a lot of people talk about why calling knife doesn't work, because you're grabbing on wrist.
Right,
so
this can manipulate.
But you're doing this.
Yes.
Oh,
now,
man,
do that again. Now you want my elbow above my shoulder. That's it.
That's a lot. That's cool. So you're doing this. Now you can manipulate and do whatever you want from there.
And so, and then I'm not doing it from this position. I'm doing it from here.
Oh, that's weak on my shoulder.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
And then now I can bring you in, pop you, or whatever. But you see a lot of people try to do it from this position.
Which is hard because you got to watch out for this hand. Oh, nice.
I'm on the outside. And so I'll work off on the reverse triangle. And then we do what, in our system, we call it in footwork. It's I'm making the letter in with my footwork. And so everybody said reverse triangle, in footwork. So that gets me away from the blade.
Zoning away from the target.
And I'm zoning away from your other arm, and I'm putting you in a weaker position.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because if I'm here, you can punch me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can do that.
So I'll angle. Now if you try to punch.
It's harder for my shoulder.
Yes.
Because I can't rotate. Because you have my hand in a weird position. So now when I try to turn, it puts a lot of pressure into all my joints. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that hurts. He's wrist locking me while I also have the blade.
Yeah, so and that's another reason why I'm controlling the base of the thumb versus here. So now I
you can't do anything.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't move my blade. Oh.
So I'm controlling, and I'm going to your knuckles.
Can we do?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you might have to get close up on this. Turn it this way for the camera, because
I'm going to the back of the hand, not the blade.
no, because I can move the
Yes,
blade.
I'm going to back of the hand, and that's what bends the wrist. I'm not trying to bend your wrist with this hand. Mm-hmm. This one bends the wrist.
Oh man, that's hard for me to move my blade.
And then from that position, I can up. Whew. And even if you have someone that's really big,
like Mark?
and Mark's got a strong arm, strong wrist, from this position, stay right there. From this position, there's no way I can do that. Mm-hmm. Because look at the angle where his shoulder is.
Oh.
That makes him weak on the outside. Another thing what I'll do is I will bring him into me.
To make it weaker.
Now I'm using his
wow.
body weight against his wrist.
That makes sense.
So, but it takes practice to do that.
For sure, yeah.
And unfortunately, most people don't practice that, so how can you use that for self-defense?
It's hard to take a weekend class of just learning how to do self-defense. Yeah, for sure.
And so that takes years of practice to do that. You know, I've been doing that for 30 years.
Yeah,
you know,
it's awesome.
And I slept at a Holiday Inn Express, you know,
So in conclusion to this, right, we talk about having the good control on the blade, you gotta insert some sort of violence, angle, move out. I think that's like ultimately takeaway for the video is like people need to understand the Kali is not just teaching you, okay, here's what we do, here's a fancy disarm that we like to show.
No.
Sometimes we do that, I think just for, you have to train. You have to understand the angle. But that's only a part of a curriculum.
Oh,
the curriculum is like, the extensive curriculum part is actually learning to move the body, manipulate the weight, and it's angle change in isolation of the weapon.
Absolutely. And I'm not trying to work my strength against your strength. I'm practice. And so I'm attacking that arm, and I'm
hacking the nerve.
I'm hacking the nerve off of that. And that controls that thumb, so it loosens the thumb up, and then it makes it very easy to strip.
Ah, he got me. That's cool. All right, that's a lot of great information. Well, thank you so much, sir.
Yes, indeed.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please leave in the comment section. Leave in the comment section below. I'm gonna leave his information. So if you guys ever visit him,
I'm in New York, Louisiana.
You guys should go check him out. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week.